Dolores Umbridge. Dolores Umbridge is proof that you don't need to look scary to be pure evil. She's the Ministry's very own Karen, armed with a wand, a pink cardigan, and a creepy collection of cat plates. Unlike Voldemort, who's all about open terror, Umbridge hides her nastiness behind fake smiles and her annoying hem. Her crimes? Oh, where do we start? She banned Quidditch, fired beloved teachers, and turned Hogwarts into a rule-filled nightmare. And that quill she made students use? It carves words into their skin. Imagine handing out literal scars for detention and calling it discipline. Her obsession with control and blood purity made her the Ministry's attack dog, happily ruining lives while sipping tea. What makes Umbridge even worse is how real she feels. She's the boss who micromanages everything, the bureaucrat who hides behind rules to bully people. She doesn't just enforce the system, she twists it for her own sick power trips. Watching her get dragged off by centaurs? Chef's kiss. Dolores Umbridge is a reminder that sometimes the scariest villains aren't the ones hiding in shadows. They're the ones smiling in broad daylight. Joffrey Baratheon is the king of brats, literally. Imagine the most spoiled kid you've ever met, then give him a crown and a kingdom to ruin. From the moment he sits on the Iron Throne, he acts like the world owes him everything. Joffrey doesn't just throw tantrums, he throws tantrums with swords and soldiers. His greatest hits include tormenting Sansa Stark just for fun, putting people's heads on spikes, and using his crossbow to treat peasants like target practice. And let's not forget the moment he ordered Ned Stark's execution in front of everyone, just to show off. That single move made him the most hated guy in Westeros and started a war. Bravo, Joffrey, bravo. But what really makes Joffrey the worst? His massive ego. He acts like he's a genius mastermind, but everyone knows he's just a puppet for his mom, Cersei. Watching him choke on poison pie was the ultimate Game of Thrones moment. It wasn't just satisfying, it felt like justice served with dessert. Joffrey, the spoiled king who proved that some people should never be in charge. Scar. Scar is that one shady uncle who always shows up late, brings nothing to the party, and somehow ruins everything anyway. From the second he slinks onto the screen, you can tell he's trouble. The way he talks, the way he moves. He's basically saying, I'm about to mess up your whole life and you'll thank me later. His most savage move, that gut-wrenching moment when Mufasa is clinging to the cliff for dear life, and Scar leans in with a smirk and whispers, Long live the king, before sending him plummeting to his doom. Not only does he murder his own brother, but he also gaslights Simba into thinking it's all his fault. Then he takes over Pride Rock and runs it straight into the ground. Drought, famine, and a bunch of partying hyenas. Great job, Scar. But Scar's biggest problem? He's a coward. When Simba returns to reclaim the throne, Scar tries to talk his way out of trouble, throwing the hyenas under the bus. Spoiler, they don't take it well. Scar, the king of betrayal who learned the hard way that karma always bites back. Literally, Commodus. Power was never supposed to land in Commodus's hands, and boy, does it show. From the moment he takes the throne, it's like Rome handed its future to a spoiled kid who only cares about applause. Forget strategy or wisdom. This guy runs the empire like it's his personal playhouse, complete with gladiator games to distract the masses from his epic failures. His big claim to infamy? Killing his own father, Emperor Marcus Aurelius, to steal the throne. Commodus didn't earn his spot. He took a shortcut, and it shows. His reign is a mess of bad decisions, from draining the treasury for over-the-top games to alienating everyone who actually knows how to run an empire. Meanwhile, he struts around like he's the Roman rock star nobody asked for, basking in the crowd's cheers while the empire crumbles behind him. And let's not even get started on his obsession with his sister Lucilla. Yikes. He uses her as a pawn in his twisted schemes, making their already strained relationship even creepier. Commodus is a walking lesson in how arrogance and insecurity can destroy even the mightiest of empires. Hans. At first glance, Hans from Frozen looks like the perfect Disney prince. Handsome, polite, and ready to duet about true love. But scratch the surface, and you'll find a snake in a royal sash, quietly plotting to turn charm into a crown. Hans doesn't waste time. He sweeps Anna off her feet, sings about sandwiches, and proposes faster than you can say, red flag. But when Elsa accidentally turns Arendelle into a frozen wasteland, Hans sees his golden opportunity. He switches gears from doting prince to cold-hearted schemer, planning to marry Anna off Elsa and snatch the throne. his coldest moment, leaving Anna to freeze while delivering the line that broke a million hearts. If only there was someone who loved you. Ouch. From there, he tries to kill Elsa in a power grab so shameless, it could have been a reality show plot twist. Hans isn't driven by revenge or even greed. It's pure ambition, wrapped in a fake smile and good hair. He's the guy who makes you rethink trusting anyone with nice manners and a charming voice. Hans, the Disney prince who turned every fairy tale trope upside down. Lotso Huggin' Bear. Lotso Huggin' Bear looks like he should be giving hugs at a children's party, but don't let that strawberry-scented fluff fool you. This bear's pure evil in a plush suit. He was once loved by a little girl, but when she replaced him with a newer, fluffier bear, Lotso's heart turned colder than a freezer full of ice cream. Lotso's new motto? If I can't be loved, no one else can. So he takes over Sunnyside Daycare and turns it into a nightmare. He runs it like a prison camp, sending new toys to the toddler room, which is basically Toy Armageddon. Meanwhile, Lotso and his inner circle live the good life, laughing at the destruction they've caused. The worst part? He plays the role of the good guy while tormenting everyone who challenges him. He's a master manipulator who can flip from sweet to sadistic in seconds. Lotso's villainy comes from a place of pure bitterness. He's so stuck in his own anger that he convinces himself that making everyone miserable will somehow fix his own pain. And when the truth finally comes out, he's left with nothing but the trash. Karma works fast when you're a cuddly dictator. President Snow. President Snow isn't your average villain. He doesn't need to yell or storm around. He just gives you that creepy, calm smile and you instantly know you're in trouble. Behind his gentle demeanor, he's a master manipulator, controlling the entire nation with just a few whispered words and a deadly, quiet smile. He's got this creepy way of making you feel small without ever raising his voice. Snow's big move, The Hunger Games. It's less about entertainment and more about crushing hope. He doesn't care who dies. He just needs the districts to see their kids fight for survival every year, so they know he is in control. It's like he's playing a game with lives as pawns, and trust me, the only thing he's winning is fear. What makes him extra insufferable? Snow never lifts a finger himself. He makes others do the dirty work while he stays tucked in the capital, sipping his poison-scented roses. He doesn't need to threaten anyone directly. He's got enough spies and agents doing his bidding, and if he's upset, you'll know about it without him even saying a word. Syndrome. Imagine being so obsessed with your childhood hero that you turn into a villain just to prove you're as good as them. That's Syndrome for you. He was Mr. Incredible's #1 fan until he wasn't. After being rejected, he decided, hey, if I can't join them, I'll just destroy them instead. Classic overreaction, right? Syndrome's master plan? To make everyone a superhero so no one would be special anymore. He builds a killer robot, lets it wreak havoc, then swoops in to save the day with his fancy gadgets, taking all the glory. And his big idea for world domination? Sell his tech to anyone who wants to be super. Because nothing says evil genius like giving everyone access to superpowers. Sure, why not? The thing about Syndrome? He's got the brains but none of the emotional intelligence. He can invent gadgets that could destroy cities, but he can't handle being ignored or rejected. Instead of working on his skills, he chooses petty revenge and tries to show up the guy who hurt his feelings. And let's be real, when your big evil plan involves a cape and a robot, it's not going to end well.